My name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Habit number 2. So I just made a video and I mentioned something and I think I may have made a clinical error. Not a lie, but a clinical error. I said that there were no cross-species children, and clearly I was wrong in Mass Effect because the Asari have lots of cross-species children. Uh, PB herself admitted that her father was an Elcor. Alright? Um, Liara was a pure blood. Both of her parents was Asari, but one of her parents was not um, a pure blood Asari because her father was a Krogan. And that would be PB's mom. I mean, not PB's mom. That would be Liara's mom who worked at the fucking bar. Alright? So you kind of got to give me a little bit of rack on that. But the problem with that is, even if Asari is a crossbreed species, they all still look like fucking Asari. So I'm not exactly wrong. I'm kind of even Steven on that because, alright, we don't know if Solarians can mate with humans and what that child would look like. We don't know if Krogans can mate with anything outside of Asari and other Krogans. We don't think Krogans can mate with Solarians. We don't think Solarians can mate with Taurians. And we don't know if Taurians can mate with humans. But if they can, we don't know what their kids will look like because no one's actually explored that in the realm of Mass Effect, or at least not in the game. Now, if they've done that in the comic or whatever, I wouldn't know because I didn't know those comics existed until like last year. Have I found any of those comics? Hell no. Because every time I go to a comic store, I'm generally looking for something for X-Men or something, and since me and Marvel, I don't really read too many more Marvels because they destroy all my favorite X-Men and took the comic in a dimension that I don't want to go in. You know, it's kind of hard to do that. So back on track, there's no way of telling what a cross-species child would look like in Andromeda because any human that mates with an Asari, the kid's going to be Asari. We don't know if there has been any humans mating with Batarians or Volus or Drill. And Drill seems like they would be the closest because even though their hands are webbed, like these two fingers, they're webbed, but they still have 5 fingers. It's just more like they have 4 fingers because 2 are fused together. So would the kid be born like this, you know, with like lobster hands or whatever? And we don't know if anything can mate with a Hanar outside of a Hanar and an Asari. And they make Asari seem like the biggest like birth control users ever because an Asari can mate with anything and everything. So we don't know, but we do know that everything that they mate with is an Asari, essentially. So, well, literally, they just have different chromosomes of different creatures. Now, in that, you know, alright, so if Shepard is male and he mates with Liara, regardless of how they do it, the baby will still be, sorry, where Shepard mates with Ashley or mates with Miranda, you know, either way you slice it, he still will have a human baby. Now, if Shepard mates with a Solarian or a Taurian, there's no telling what the hell that thing's going to look like when it comes out. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a racist, but as a person of multicultural ethnicity, it's going to be a tight one. And it's the same thing if you made it with a Krogan or made it with an Elcor or made it with a Volus, if they can even come out that soup for that. And the same thing if you made it with a Quarian. What would these multicultural kids look like? No one knows because, like I said, in Mass Effect video game or any of that, they have never given us a dynamic of what these children would look like. So you guys tell me, besides the Asari, are there any other mixed race kids or people in Mass Effect? And did I miss it? Not just in the trilogy, but in Andromeda as well. So I'm James Williams Jr. That'll give you something to ponder on for tonight. Have a good day and enjoy this weekend that's coming up because I do believe the Spider-Man drops this weekend. I'm hoping I can find me some money so I can go see it. Until then, because I haven't gotten paid for my job yet, hopefully there'll be a check tomorrow because it's Thursday. Anyway, hopefully you guys will enjoy this video and hopefully you guys will chime in on some of your Mass Effect's opinions. And one more thing, tell BioWare we want more Andromeda. I can't be the only one. I know you guys are chopping at the bit because we chopped at the bit for 5 years for Andromeda. Now, granted, there were a lot of haters, and then I will close out. There were a lot of haters that really hated Andromeda, alright? Fuck you guys. Now, there's a lot of people who really loved Andromeda, like me. Thank you guys. Now, as far as the haters go, I think some of you guys just didn't play the game all the way through, because I will be the first to tell you, the ending is fucking awesome. It's not a bullshit ending like in 3 where you have, okay, well, you're going to drive through the beam, and Shepard dies to that beam, his or her body disintegrates. So you clearly know that Shepard does not fucking survive this shit. If he kills all the synthetics, he fucks up Edie and all the other people, including the Geth. So that fucking sucks. And then if he becomes a Reaper, that really fucking sucks, at least for me. Because why would you go through all that shit to become the one thing you couldn't stand? And even though you can control them, you can never be human again, and you can never talk to these people. And even Harbinger would have to follow your command. Something doesn't seem really right with that. That's like a really bad clusterfuck of an idea. And then there's the do nothing ending, and that's the only one where Liara actually talks. And then the Stargazer's a female, where in the other ones the Stargazer's all a male. But they don't give you shit as an ending. They give you, can I go into space? What will I find there? Things that you can hardly imagine. And you don't even know how far along that is after the fucking war. There's no aftermath DLC or anything so that you can know whatever decision that Shepard made, how will it affect the game? If Shepard did nothing, how much longer did Shepard fight before either he was killed or he died from natural causes? You don't get any of that shit. You get a big fat fuck you, and that's it. Because no matter what choice you pick, you know that at the end the Stargazer tells them that they fought a great war, and clearly they survived it, or the Stargazer wouldn't be there to talk. Rather, it's the Asari Stargazer that sounds like Samora, or it's the male Stargazer who you can't see if they're human or not, but you can tell that the female Stargazer are Asari. You knew hands down that if anyone was going to survive the war, it would more likely be 3 races that would survive the war. Humans probably not really being among them. Some of us are survivors. I'll give us that. But in a situation like that where you have aliens who've been around longer than we have and have been fighting more wars than we have, I'm pretty sure that I can chalk it up to the insect people, the Arachni, the Krogan, and the Asari. And let's say maybe about 14% of the Taurians, because most of them are warriors. And I know you're going to think, well, James, why did you leave the humans out? Okay, did you not pay attention to this game? Because most of the humans were getting taken out left and right in game 2 by the fucking collectors. And we were getting kidnapped, we were getting processed, we were turned into a fucking damn human-shaped Reaper. We were getting fucked up, and not everyone is a soldier. Now, I'm pretty sure the humans that were in the soldiering business, some of them would have probably survived, but then you gotta chalk it up to lifespan. The average human may make it to 115 years old. May make it to 115 years. It just depends on how good they take care of themselves internally and externally, and as long as they're not hit by cancer, AIDS, or any STDs or shit like that will probably drop us dead quicker than a fucking heartbeat or faster than a Krogan can fart, which means we outlive the Solarians because they only make it to 40 years, which I think is a crock of shit, but, things happen. People evolve. The Solarians evolved because the Prothean said so. He said he used to eat flies. So maybe they can live past 40 years if they take precautions, or since they're always cloning stuff, maybe they can make their clones with sterner stuff to make sure that their clones can carry on, because we don't even know if Solarians actually mate. We just know that they're good with clones and cloning technology. And we know that they have sex because Morden claims to have had sex with Arya. So there's no telling. Maybe Arya's daughter in the comic book belonged to Morton. You never know. But the same concept is that, the Asaris have been around for a long time. They can live to be 1,000 years. They're the longest living. Drac proves that Krogans can live to be 1,000 years since he's 1,400 years old. Now, as far as Protheans, we don't know how long they can live, but we give them the benefit of the doubt. And we pretty much know that Death can probably live for a long time because they're machines, and they can only die if you kill them, or if they get into that collective bubble that they were working on. We don't know the lifespans of Corians. We don't know the lifespans of Vorcha. We don't know the lifespans of Drill. We don't know the lifespans of Volus. So, that being said, without an Aftermath DLC for Game 3, You don't know how long Shepard lived. Shepard might have lived 4 hours after that ass kicking that he just took, and he might have died right then and there. And then everybody else was like fighting outside, so they don't know what the fuck happened. They just know that Shepard, he did the job. Or in any case, if you chose the fourth choice, he didn't do the job, and they had to keep fighting and fighting and fighting until they found the fucking solution. Which in reality, I think that's probably what would have happened. He probably wouldn't have done it just because of the fact that he worked so hard to unite the Krogans and the Solarians and the Taurians and and the Quarians and the Geth. If you work that hard to bring everyone together to fight, and then you're going to choose to eliminate one specific group of people to save everyone else, I don't see that being Shepard's character. So I honestly think that the fourth choice probably would have been the one that Shepard would have done, and then it would have just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and it would have just kept going on and on. And I can see Shepard now, all old and gray, and Liara holding him up, saying, "Okay, so what's the next plan?" And Shepard just barely being able to convolute a plan in his head to tell them, "Okay, well, let's do this since that didn't work, and let's do this since that didn't work." And I can see Hackett being even older and maybe just being like a head in a bubble, saying, "Yes, let's follow what Shepard says." And then if that keeps going on, then Hackett's head would probably die, and Shepard's head would probably be in the bubble. So if he can keep going, and you never really know. Excuse me. You don't really know if Anderson was even a real person, if he was doing with the indoctrination and all this bullshit theories that just keep popping up out of nowhere when the game went on. So when the game comes to an end and you choose nothing, the only thing that changes is the Stargazer is now a female who sounds like Samora. So if it is Samora, then you know that she survived it, and you know that Liara uh, attempted to survive, but she left a record in case she didn't survive. And she hint at that she would seed them around the universe so that if the Reapers came back, then that would mean that they failed. Alright? And they deployed the thing, but it didn't work, which means the Reapers would have come back for another 50,000 years. So when you think about it, they would have had to do number 4. Then they would have to keep fighting until the very end. And as the Prothean has said, you know, we had already been in the midst of the war by the time I was old enough to grab a weapon. We had already been fighting them forever. So that just means that if 50,000 years and he woke up during the probably the last tail end of it, you know, that kind of proposes a bit of a problem. So, like I said, you don't really know what happens to Shepard and them after that, which I think was bullshit. There should have been an Aftermath DLC. Had I been working there, I would have pushed for that, especially with all the clusterfuck that happened when people got these endings and said, "God, we're getting fucked." And you know, you pay yay so much for the game, and then you get the DLC and everything just leaves you with that. What happened? So yeah, let's not go backwards. Let's go forward, and hope like hell that Shepard and them made it and died of old age or died a glorious battle, and we will never know unless somebody at BioWare decides to reverse compatible the thing and make it for the PlayStation 4. Because hell yeah, I'll go buy the trilogy again. I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy the end. I would personally think that the game should have ended at game 2 and just left it to your imagination. Because when you get to game 3 and you get those 4 fucked up ass endings, it's pretty like fucked up. Or if they're gonna do an Aftermath CD, they should probably add 3 or 4 more different endings in there and let you know exactly what the fuck happens to Shepard and them when it's done. Now there have been some people who have been hard pressed to carry on Shepard's legacy, so they've made like an Aftermath thing about how it happens. Now, depending on your ending, they do show you everything with uh, Lieutenant Colts and all the other people and Hackett and rebuilding the space station over Earth better than ever and everything. But they still don't let you know what the fuck happens to Shepard and his crew. They don't let you know anything. All you know is that they hang Shepard's plaque up and they hang Anderson's plaque up, but you don't know what the fuck happened to them. Now again, if you take the red ending, you don't know if that's Shepard's last breath or a breath. So it's kind of a fucked up situation. Like I said, If you take the blue ending, well, you become a Reaper. So, and they show you what happens with the Reapers. They show you that the Reapers help rebuild shit. But then at the end, the Stargazer still a man, and he doesn't say how anything has changed. He doesn't say how the Reapers became their friends or any of that shit, and their guardians or whatever. Which is understandable if you become a Reaper and you decide to make guardians, because it's probably the power play. Now, on the other hand, I've always chose the red ending. I'm sorry to everybody who's an Edie and the Geth fan, because usually when you take the red ending, ixnay on Edie and them. Now, if you take the green ending, Edie becomes a living being, which would give her and Joker ultimate bliss, but no Shepherd. No. And you work hard from game 1 to game 3, and the last damn thing you want to do is not have Shepherd live through it. However, in every culture, the thing that makes a person a hero is not how much they did, but it's how they remembered. And if a hero's true purpose is to die saving people, which is what makes them a hero, then truthfully, the green ending would be the way to go. So everybody becomes one type of species, except for the people who got on the Andromeda Initiative and just kept on going. There'd be pure humans and whatever, and everyone else would be different by the time their descendants find their way back to the Milky Way. But what would that make happen to the Reapers? Because the green beam, I forgot what it does to them. I think it would make them regular too. I don't remember. Maybe when I get to that part, I'll take it and see what happens. But anyway, I'm James Smith. Come for habit number 2. Be seeing you. Did it stop? No, it didn't.